in love 13 years ago when I hired him as my bodyguard after a violent relationship. Falling in love with your bodyguard is like a daydream. My bodyguard made me feel protected and loved. After escaping a violent relationship, falling in love again was scary, but amazing. I had been in a violent relationship for a year and I was scared and alone and didn't know how to escape. And when I got the strength to do it, was one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. When I hired my bodyguard, he had not been convicted at that point. He had only been arrested and released. And that is why I did not feel safe, because there wasn't a conviction at that point against him.
Well, there wasn't an order for our daughter either. Like, he could come get her whenever he wanted.
Yeah, at first that was how it was. It was a release agreement is what they called it. He was out on a release agreement and then broke the release agreement. And in that time is when I hired my bodyguard. It was actually our best friend and him that convinced me to hire a bodyguard. And then I hired him.
So I wasn't an actual.
He wasn't an actual bodyguard.
I was hers, but not. I didn't do it.
It wasn't
for a
proficient. I thought I could handle it all on my own. And he had offered to help me, but I wouldn't take his offer. I said no, but I offered to pay him. And so that's how it came about that I had hired him. I have still yet to pay him his first month's salary, but I did promise to pay him. As long as I was with him, I felt safe. Because of all the trauma that I had been through, I relied on alcohol a lot. And so I would drink and then I would beg him to love me. And he would say, talk to me when you're sober. And then I could never bring myself to talk to him. And then I did one day. I said, I need you to either have a relationship with me or nothing, because my daughter. And he said, nope, nothing. She was only about 7 months old. And so she started, the first sounds, and she started calling him dad. And I said, I can't do this to her. It's not fair if you don't want a relationship. And he said, no, I don't want anything. So I took what we have. I took everything that I had ever given him or bought him. And I left and didn't speak to him for 2 weeks. But then after 2 weeks, he called me and we started dating. And then I received some papers in the mail stating that my ex was filing for full custody, and I needed to. The lawyer had advised that I be able to show how I was caring for her, and I didn't have a job, and I had to prove how I was providing for my daughter, and I couldn't prove that. And Derek had come home from work, and so I told him that I would be moving 300 miles to be with my mom through custody. And he said, why don't we get married? And I said, nope. And he said, nope, let's get married. And we decided to get married, and we got married on Friday. I said, I know I'm going to marry you eventually, so might as well do it now. We have full custody. He has no custody, and we're in the process of doing a step-parent adoption. I never thought that love was possible again. I always thought that I wasn't worth being loved. So to have somebody love me the way that Derek loved me was unimaginable. And I fought it for a long time, thinking I didn't deserve it. And it took me a long time to realize that I did deserve the love that he showed me. and that it's okay to love again.
Великий народе великої країни. Звертаюсь до вас в цей